Hello, everybody, and welcome. Good to see you. And we are here today for another social media tip on can help your business grow. I'm Lisa Kanda, president of LK Advisors, and I am joined today with the marketing intern for LK Advisors, Olivia. Welcome, Olivia. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you?
I'm great. Well, we've got a lot to cover today, and we want to give you a great new tip that you may not be thinking about on how to give your blog post more visibility. So Olivia's been learning some of these great strategies that I've been working with her, and she's going to talk about one specific thing that she's done for me, but it's really a bigger picture strategy that I want to share with you. And sometimes we think about that when we put a blog post out there, that once you share it out in your social media channels, after you've written it, that's it, it's done. And then you move on to the next piece of content. But the trick is that the algorithms in social media, they do not promote that blog post. They do not give you the visibility that you would think with a one and done. Even if you put it on multiple channels, it's not enough. And the beauty of social media is that you can put that blog post out there in a variety of ways in what we call repurposing. Because unless it's very time sensitive, you can actually continue to get some legs out of that and higher visibility in this strategy that we're going to talk about. So to optimize your blog post and the visibility, we want to do a strategy called repurposing. And I'm going to ask Olivia to share with you how we did that with a particular blog post we recently did and how that's helped us. So Olivia, tell us about the strategy of repurposing the blog and how you've been using it to help LK Advisors.
Absolutely. So repurposing a blog is whenever you go and present your blog in a different format that you can spread across multiple platforms. And so some of the examples that we have is whenever we will create a quote card, maybe taking an exact line from the blog itself and then sending it out with an image, or we do a YouTube video or even an informational short video that really grasps somebody's attention to draw them right back to the blog post. And so this is just used so that you can spread it across maybe your Facebook and your Twitter and your LinkedIn, and so that people are constantly seeing your formatting and also seeing your content, so that you'll be able to not bore them and bring their attention right back to the intent, which is your blog post as itself.
I like that. Say not bore them, because people learn and pay attention to different types of content, as well as you've learned the algorithm is attracted to different content depending on lots of factors. So if you just put a post out with some text with a link to a blog post, but say the next time you decide to do that, and about how far in advance, how different should you put that out there? So the other thing we've learned is something we call scheduling, right? So what have you learned about the time frames you should repurpose this content?
Absolutely. So whenever it comes to scheduling, you want to make sure that you are not necessarily sending it right at the peak of your times and doing it right before, so that when people are jumping on social media, your information will be the first stuff that's there, and it's not going to be thrown into the back of the algorithm. And so you want to make sure that you're intentionally keeping it updated and keeping the algorithm itself fresh, so that your content will be put first. If you schedule too many at say you did 8 o'clock every single day on the dot, the algorithm is going to get used to it, and therefore your information and your content is going to be sent towards the back and is not going to be deemed as important. But if you go and switch it up at an 8:30 or 9:15 or 3:30, it really mixes up the algorithm so that people can see your content even more. And so, like Lisa said earlier, as long as your information is not time sensitive, also, you can draw out your content over weeks and even a couple of months. And so you can continuously bring people right back to the blog post or whatever content that you're sending out there. And people, like we said earlier, people won't get bored of your content. It's going to be something that's still necessary for them to learn about, to use in their businesses and processes.
Right. And if it's a video, maybe some people are more drawn to video, or an image, they might, they're thumbing through, right? We want that thumb stopping content. So they may be more attracted to the quote you picked on that particular image that you may not have used in previous promotional content for that blog. So excellent way of sharing how that's done, Olivia. So let's talk about a recent blog post that you guest posted for on our blog. So tell us what was that blog post, and what did you learn from that experience?
So I wrote about the current use of QR codes within the pandemic, and how, though they existed before the pandemic, they have grown exponentially in their usage. And that comes from the fact that we're living in a contactless society where everyone is trying to make sure that, how do I keep my business going, but make sure that I'm keeping my customers safe? And so QR codes have definitely become a huge use in that, because of the fact that all you have to do is scan it. You could stand 10 feet away, you could stand 2 feet away, scan it, and all the information pops up. Advertising for restaurants, it could be menus, even payment. Everything is kind of wrapped up within the QR code, and it just reduces even paper usage, just overall time, because they are quick, and it really helps to reduce lines and just time sensitivity, because people want things quick and they want it now. And so you don't want to make sure that you're adding something that's going to add time to your customer's day. And so a part of that, what I've learned, is the fact that even though we know that QR codes are used in travel, it's something that's becoming more widely used, and people are going to expect it. And so between restaurants, between travel, even governments with traveling have used entire apps that you can download the QR code and get information about the day, about the country, about just the city that you're in, so that all that information's out there immediately. And so I did learn that QR codes have become more and more reliable in your day-to-day processes, and that both the basic QR codes that you can use, that are just the simple black and white ones, you can also use and completely change to match your brand. And so on the App Store, when the game Angry Birds was really big, they completely changed their QR code. And so it was one of their characters in it. And so people knew that's Angry Birds immediately. And so
I
they're
didn't know
very,
that. That's something I
yeah,
didn't even know. That's kind
absolutely.
of cool. So yeah, that's interesting. You can customize. So you may even notice which way. Let's at the point.
Right
I
over
have a
here.
QR code on my background, which goes to my LinkedIn profile. But you're saying you can even customize the way that looks. That is so awesome. That's it sounds like you've really learned a lot about QR codes. She wrote a wonderful article as a business owner. You want to learn how to use QR codes in your business and expand your visibility in that. We're going to add that link into this description of this video. So make sure you read that blog post. And this is another way of repurposing content, right? So we're talking about this awesome article that Olivia wrote. We're going to share, the entire link to that article, so you'll get much more in depth. No reason for us to go into all the depth of it, because you can read that. But clearly, there's some great information in there for you, so we want you to go read that. So the second piece of that is what we were talking about, the repurposing. So how have we repurposed that article since you wrote it?
Absolutely. So we've already done a little informational video talking about the necessity of QR codes, and we've also done a quote card taking a direct line from it, just so you all can get a sneak peek of what is within the blog post. And really, it's just to draw the attention right back into it, which is what I'd say we've successfully done.
Yeah, and we're seeing results with that. So that the other thing is, we go back, we look at our analytics, we learn from when we post what people are interested. It's getting shared, so we know it's working. So anything else you want to share about your experience in doing this, the blog post and the repurposing and some of the work you've done so far?
Absolutely. Everything that I've done, especially with just the blog as a whole with LK, is a challenge, and it's not necessarily something that's a negative thing. I love learning, and I do love being challenged, because it keeps me on my toes all the time. And so this blog post, just as a learning experience, was something that really helped me realize, okay, I can do this. Most definitely. And just learning about all the processes of social media and just the inner workings of marketing has really made me kind of understand, like, okay, like, this is so much more in depth than people realize, and it's very important to be on top of this and to know how to engage with your audience at all times, because it's really easy to lose people's attention. And even as just a regular consumer, I don't think I understood how quickly my attention is over here to this new brand and this new brand if someone's not keeping up on it. So definitely become more appreciative of people who go behind the scenes and do this, no doubt.
I love that perspective. And I share that perspective a lot with my audience, and that sometimes you have to go back and be the consumer and the customer, because we lose sight because we're too close to it. I've been in this business a long time. And so many times I need that fresh perspective. So I love working with you, Olivia, because you help me stay grounded sometimes in some of the things I become a little bit, too not aware of. Because I'm just too involved in it. But it's also very exciting to hear that you're learning so much from doing this work, and your incredible help to LK Advisors. So we love having you as our intern. So I think we're going to make this short and sweet, so that folks can move on with their day. To recap, repurposing a blog post or article helps you get more visibility to your social media channels, just like doing this video. And we talked about how repurposing content is important, as well as this wonderful QR code. Our QR codes making a comeback is actually what's called, a guest post that Olivia has written for the LK Advisors blog. So make sure you go read that and give her some kudos and share that so we can get the word out. And you'll find that link in the description. And thank you, Olivia. Thanks for sharing your experience with LK, and it's a pleasure having you on board. And I'm expecting we're going to see more from you in the future. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.